Andrew Easton here with the ESUCC, and I'm back talking with Eileen Barks of ESU2. Really looking forward to having the opportunity to talk a little bit about some of the things we can think to do prior to going into some whole group session with our students in that remote environment via video conferencing. So Eileen, thank you for your time, and we look forward to learning from you here.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hey, can you share that slide for me, if you would?
Yeah, let's do it. There it is.
Perfect. I appreciate it. So the last one that Andrew and I talked about, we were setting up those video conferencing norms. And I gave you some hints on before, during, and after, but I had to slide over them. So I'm going to do one on before, one on during, and one on after. So catch all three if you can. I think it'll be good. So if you're thinking about that before, this is a hint slide for you. And basically what you're looking at is all of those different things that you need to do before you get on the Zoom. For instance, what's that pre-work that you need to do? What do the students need to do, and how are you going to get that to them? What are those learning targets, learning progressions, and success criteria for the students? And how are the students going to know those things? So are you going to get those in your LMS, learning management system? Are you going to send them out email? What do the students need to know to access? How are the students going to connect? And how are they going to get that information? I want you to think about making sure you're having all of your materials ready to go and access, because remember, you're limited in that time that you need. This is a hint that I do. I do this all the time because we have a kind of a shut down Google system in our ESU. It's locked down like Fort Knox, really. So I go incognito and I make sure every link I can do that incognito. And the way you do that is you go up to the top. If you're using Chrome, you go up to the top where your picture is and you find an incognito browser there. The other way you can do it is just Google incognito browser. All right. Think about what your space looks like before you get online. You want to maybe, I've done this before. I've taken a picture of my space and I've kind of looked and seen what's there. Like right before I got on here, I looked behind me and there was 2 pieces of paper, and I didn't want everybody to see those 2 pieces of paper. There was also a sign with my zip code on it, and it just looked really busy. And then there was a Kleenex box behind me. And so I changed them all because I wanted these to look professional, right? And then you want to be checking your lighting and your background and all of that stuff too. Like I did take that dirty Kleenex off, but you know, it was okay. I just had the sniffles and allergies. So anyway, the second half of this slide, I want you to feel free to send to your students. The students need to know this stuff too. They need to know if they have their pre-class preparation stuff done and what are their expectations. And if they would focus like none other, like what are their learning goals for the day and what did they want to achieve? Do they have a question they want to make sure that they ask in class because they didn't understand it from the day before? Do they want just 5 minutes, okay, maybe 1 minute alone with the teacher to clarify something, and they don't want to publicly have the rest of the kids know that? So how, as a student, are you going to access that? And then very, very similar to the teachers, you know, prepare your space, make sure that if you have personal items in the background that you don't have that. I know that kids are going at all places in their homes to get onto their cameras or get onto their classes. And it's okay. If they find a quiet space, that's amazing. But if they check their lighting, that's great. And then just making sure that their first and last name's on the screen. So if you do those things before, plus I bet you have some other ideas too, but if you do just those things before, you're going to make it so much easier when you're actually face-to-face and synchronous with your students.
That is a wonderful set of ideas to think about ahead of time. And I love the thought process too there of that we're really trying to think through how, like teaching them about each of those steps, right? And so, yes, complete your pre-preparation activity. We also kind of frame that in saying like, this is why this is important to be prepared, so that when you hit this moment and you're asked a question, you've already thought about an answer ahead of time. And so really that whole framing the significance of these pieces along with really talking through what it is to set goals and why we do that and modeling that process and holding them accountable is a big piece in executing these amazing ideas well. And so I'm so grateful, Eileen, that you're advocating for these, and hope that educators look to start to incorporate those into their practices if they haven't, or become a little more intentional before you lead your whole group. So thank you for your time, and check out the next video because you want to learn about the during and after. Those are also important as well.